about communication. Hey, everybody, welcome to Streamer and Troll, where three great friends come together each week to talk about new topics in streaming, gaming, and life in general. This week, we're going to be talking about communication, how it's changed from ancient times up to modern. It's going to be super cool, super exciting, guys. I hope you're ready. Let's go!
Is your mic off? Is your mic off?
No, his mic's on.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Ah!
Got 'em. And hello, everybody. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
How
Doing
you
good.
doing?
Hello, everyone.
Fantastic. Des is still dancing to the music in her head. Not surprised. Chat, how you guys doing today? And those of y'all listening at home on whatever your podcast streaming service of choice is, we are Streamer and Troll. We are a group of three friends, like we said in the intro, that come together to talk every 2 weeks about streaming, gaming, life, just about anything you can do that's either current events happening or, like today, how to improve some skills or an awareness as a streamer. Go ahead and start with introductions. First, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the golden voice from Twitch Sings. We've got Cydia67. How you doing today, Sid?
Hi, how you doing? How you doing?
Apparently became Tom Waits. Okay, that's good. That's good.
I'm so happy to be here.
I hear you. So Sid, how you been doing? What you been up to, bud?
Oh, you know the usual. Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that. The usual stuff. Just playing games, working my butt off, and getting ready for this TrollCon coming up here.
Oh, TrollCon.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Perhaps you could tell us.
No, I can't. TrollCon. TrollCon is a week of fun-filled shenanery coming up this February. I believe February 2nd, right?
I think that's the
For you.
February.
For me, it starts on the 30th.
No, officially the second.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So-
So, and then we're all meeting down at Orlando, Florida.
That's
where,
correct. Yeah, correct.
And if you guys want to join us, there's still plenty of time to join. Unfortunately, we do not do room and board. You're gonna have to do that for yourselves, but come and join us. We got itineraries up and stuff like that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna go to the Universal Studios as far as I can tell, and a plethora of other things too to do as well. And,
That's right. You guys can.
Am I hearing this right? I saw on the little itinerary we're going to be winning some prizes, Des? Is that?
That's correct. There are some mini games that we'll be playing at TrollCon, and if you're looking to win fabulous troll-related merchandise, be there.
Come
or be
on
square.
down. Wait, is that trademark? I can't say that, can I?
Well, you can't add the prices right. That part's certainly trade.
Yeah.
But come on down to sunny Florida, where the oranges are sweet and the temperatures are hot.
Got a scavenger hunt lined up for our time in the Universal Studios. Additionally, tentatively, we have a billiards contest planned.
Oh, okay.
Time to dust off old Betsy. No, I don't. I do not play billiards. So yeah, that will. I'm not terrible, but I'm not great.
You can win worse and crappier prizes if you're in the elite group who's going to be participating in the Mario Kart tournament.
Oh,
all right. So this is where our friendship ends. Is that Mario Kart? Okay, I understand. At least it's not Mario Party. That would be guaranteed loss right there.
I am not playing Mario Party.
All right, the next member of our troop, uh, the mistress of the arts and the and the ultimate planner of Trollcron. We have Des Westmouse. How you doing, Des?
Well, there, Zalos. I'm doing all right.
Heck yeah, that sounds fantastic.
All right.
So how you
Uh,
been doing? What you been up to the past week or two here?
well, Zalos, let me tell you,
Oh
I have
goodness.
been dealing with a catastrophe. Mostly my cat's been acting up. He's been a snooty butthead, and I think it has to do with either his preferences over his cat litter that got changed, the cat food, which was, I thought, close enough, but was not the exact same as his previous cat food, so that
Oops.
might have been an issue.
Oops.
Or the alley cats outside who've been getting too close to the door.
What?
So he's been chittering a lot out the window at them.
So now you went back. If I remember right, you said you went back to the old food.
Yes, today I went
Okay.
to the store. I got a bag of the old food that I'd bought before. I got some of the
Right.
litter. They were back in stock on the litter I was using before, so
Okay.
I grabbed
Okay.
that.
Good, good.
And
Let's hope that
I
does the
hope
best.
that's enough, and he
Yep.
stops peeing on everything.
I hope that's enough. I do too, because I know
But those of you
he's
wondering, yes, he's neutered. He's been neutered since he was old enough to be neutered, and he is 5 now.
that poor man. Poor
I'm
man.
half the cat I used to be. Half the cat I used to be.
I hope that takes care of your problems though, because
Yeah.
it's always difficult when it seems like your pets get another personality evolves, and it's less than great. I don't know
And
who's
of
calling.
course, last but not least, our esteemed host and the fetcher of cheeses, uh, Zealous Mark II. Welcome, Zealous. How you doing?
Hi. Doing good. Other than the fact that since the last show, I managed to get COVID.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I
Managed
forgot.
to get
I
yep,
forgot
managed to
that
get COVID.
too.
Uh, was it flew to California after 5 days of kind of self voluntary quarantine from when everything kind of started. Flew to California on day 6, and that night got the phone call from my doctor that like, oh yeah, you tested positive. So
Don't go anywhere. You're like,
hopefully, yeah. I'm like, well, I thought it was a sinus infection. I've had it since I was a kid.
Mhm.
Um, but apparently, in this instance, no, it was the
was it the variant?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Omicron.
Okay.
Apparently my body was invaded by the Decepticons and
Yes.
Autobots.
I was going to say,
So
were you looking for the Allspark? Is
I wasn't, but I definitely felt like I was a robot in disguise.
ah
I really
well,
did. It was terrible.
as we all know, there's definitely more than meets the eye with you, Zealous.
Jeez, I don't know. There's a lot of me that meets the eye, unfortunately. Everybody. Um, but yeah. So it was, and then I'm also the reason we're an hour late today, folks. Had a call from work. Work called. We ran out of piece of cheese. I had to go take care of it.
I
These things happen.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Zealous. I don't want to overstep any bounds or anything like that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they can't fetch cheese on their own.
So it kind of comes down to if people are on the clock and they leave the facility,
Okay.
and let's say they get in a car wreck.
Okay.
I'm responsible for that. That's my insurance
That
that's
makes
going to have to do
sense.
it because they're being paid.
Oh.
So it's a lot easier if myself or our GM takes care of it. He, however, is in another city right now, blowing off some steam after the past 2 weeks of working his butt off.
Yeah, probably
So I
deservedly
just went,
so.
yeah, deservedly so.
Okay. Well, okay. So no, now, did you just go to like a grocery store and grab some cheese, or
No, I went to so
or
we
do you
don't have
have
a
like a
Costco, and
distributor or something like that?
we do. They're not open on the weekend. In this case, we just went to Sam's Club.
Okay.
There's no Costco in my town. I think if there was, I'd probably prefer going there. But we just went to Costco or to Sam's Club and picked up. I think I picked up like 20 pounds of mozzarella cheese.
Yeah.
Which this is the wild part. We get our mozzarella cheese in 30-pound boxes.
Okay.
We had 60 pounds of cheese on hand Friday morning.
Where
Oh,
did
wow.
wait did whoa did you have that much business on Saturday that you ran out, or
On Friday and Saturday.
okay
And the thing is,
that's awesome.
we ran out Saturday, and the GM
Oh.
went out and bought another 30 pounds,
And you ran out of that. Wow.
and we ran out of that. Yeah. So, well, like I said, we've done. I mean, we've sold almost 100 pizzas.
Okay.
You know, we do about it's about $14 per pizza, and we've done $1,000 in pizza. So we've just sold a ton of pizza. So that's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. People buying a lot of birthday parties, ordering extra pizza, stuff like that. So it's been pretty. I do love a good pizza. Well, thank you. Hopefully, sorry, Sense of Us, saw you in chat there. Would love to make you a pizza if you came to visit. I'll even put pineapple on it for you.
You get to try the pizza when I visited Zelos.
That's a whole nother show.
I did get to mop up some coffee he spilled.
Oh God.
Nice.
Oh, it's not even. It wasn't even some. It wasn't even some. It was an entire like carafe of coffee. I forgot to put the nozzle on the coffee machine, and it just was.
It was everywhere. And they were getting ready to open, and I was like, I guess I'll mop.
Nice.
You didn't have to. You didn't have to.
I know,
And
but
how much did you pay?
appreciate it.
And how much did you pay her, Zealous?
You bought me breakfast. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I think we got like. I think I paid in. Was it Waffle House? No, I don't remember. Something along those lines. Though.
no, it was the
Nice.
It was delicious. Whatever it was delicious and amazing. Changed Dessa's life to the
It
point
didn't
she
change my life. It was good though.
couldn't remember the name of the restaurant.
You
Don't
see,
remember. I don't have one near me. Got an orange cup.
Orange Cup.
that's that from the restaurant that you
later.
whatever.
That's not important.
Either way, I'm wildly confused where we ended up going. But either way, yeah. Des cleaned up a mess because Zealous forgot something. And Zealous forgets a lot of things, unfortunately. Like he had COVID and got on a plane. Well, actually, no, I didn't hear about it till that night. So still.
Jeez.
So as we get started here today,
Communication.
communication, and I'm going to communicate with those listening at home.
All the
good
words.
stuff. I haven't quite figured out how to make a shortcut to mute my mic, but I do have a little bit of a cough left over from COVID, so I'm going to try to catch it as often as I can. But I'm really throwing this warning out there because the topic today is one of Zelos's topics. It's one of the things that I think quite a bit about, and I kind of want to discuss, get it brought into front of mind, especially when it comes down to what we're doing, streaming, podcasting, whatever you want to do, and some of the power that you can bring to the table if you're conscious of this. So the title of the episode is talking about how to win you open and then some with your mouth. What it really is, though, what we're really talking about is just how communication, what it is, currently, but also where things started and how it's changed throughout ages and time and up to present. So I'm probably going to monologue quite a bit this episode. It's nothing new to my friends at Zelos Monologues. But by all means, Des Sid, jump in at any time. If you hear something that's salient, pop in, say something. I know I didn't put a lot of notes, but I'm also a terrible note person to begin with.
He didn't write any notes.
I watched
Don't let him fool you. He didn't write any notes.
No,
there are
there's
no
none.
notes.
Well, I
I'm a
mean,
terrible.
if he did take notes, he didn't share them with us.
Well, so let's see. Chat understand. No, you never. Okay.
Well, thank you, undesirable
Our
note.
Yeah, Yeah, undesirable note pops in chat, goes, "No, you never use me." So yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, note your notes are undesirable.
No, no more undesirable note.
I mean, hence your name. But
All right,
thank you for that follow too.
all right. So to get started here, the um, first point we have that when I talk about communication, I kind of want to start to talk about when it comes down to humanity,
Humanity.
um, going into the past, one of the most one of the people who had the most power in all of humanity wasn't necessarily the kings, the rulers, so hardly ever the farmers. In most cases, the person who had some of the most power on humanity is the storyteller. The people that pre-writing sat down around a campfire and started telling stories, whether they made them up, whether it was of successful hunts in the hunting gathering days. It's the people, again, it really is the people who started telling stories, the people who sing songs. Those primally end up being some of the most powerful voices you get. And it translates into, like in the modern era, it translates into some being able to really craft and influence those people around you um, in some foundational ways. One such example is a company can go out and they can put out an ad campaign and make a product look amazing, look sexy, look wonderful. However, that's only going to affect 10% if they're lucky, 10% of the people that message reaches. Um, and that's using all forms of media. That's commercials on TV, radio, YouTube commercial, YouTube ads, Twitch ads, direct mail, whatever you want to call it, and advertising. They're trying to craft a message. They're trying to craft a story about why you should buy this product. However, let's say I buy a product and I buy that product and I love it and I start talking about it all the time and I start talking to my friends about it. Well, that has anywhere between a 40 to 70% conversion rate on buying a product. It's the individual's power and ability to tell a story about something that makes other people more interested. It has so much more power than any other kind of advertising you can do right now. So,
Well, and I don't
mm,
know if you're going to talk about this, but that's exactly right. Like why social media works, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. We're gonna get there. We're gonna
Okay,
get to
okay.
it.
I don't want to jump ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So this is
How
one of the
dare
things
you,
that's
Des?
so
How
good.
dare?
But this is something that I think is really important as people begin their streaming career to realize that your voice, what you bring, what you talk about, your passion for products, things that make people, your ability to tell a story about why you want to do what you're doing on Twitch or any other streaming services is, or even social media stuff like that, is there's so much power in it, and you have to be, to use it effectively, you have to be aware of it. It's an incredible tool, but like any other tool, you got to realize it's a tool that's there in the first place and how to use it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit. Again, we're going to kind of go through some of the Wayback Machine and have some debate, have some discussion on how um, what we see in the past, or especially now, since there's a lot more detail and depth into archaeology, how what they're seeing changes, what they're seeing and what they're figuring out changes our perception of how human communication and storytelling has changed and evolved. So, for example, this is one of the most this one of a fairly recent discovery that has kind of changed the way that we understand media, yeah, media as well. So we know in the dawn of early humanity, we know like I said earlier, that the person who sat around the campfire and told the stories, the people who sang, their messages, their stories have carried on. There's vast a number of oral traditions all around the world, up to the point where we even see across modern day religions and books that stories have pollinated in other areas. So, let's talk about Noah's flood. If you read the Bible, you know Noah's flood. God came, his wrath befell the earth, blah 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 blah. Before that, in Sumerian tradition, there's also a story about a flood. In this case, the whole world wasn't destroyed, but a farmer who knew the flood was coming built a raft, had his animals, had his family in there, and moved. Was forced 100 miles, hundreds of miles away from his home, and had to start a whole new life in a new area. You'll see in Egyptian mythology there's stories of floods. Obviously, they figure now in the past that there was some sort of major ecological thing that happened that changed the temperature, caused ice caps to melt, or in the case if it was during the ice age, it would be same thing. Ice started to melt, water started to rise. Archaeologists now using satellites can actually go through and map where the water line used to be, and it used to be miles and miles south of where it is in the cradle of humanity. So it's kind of fascinating how this one story has populated into other areas. And this goes through folk tales as well, even things like Pinocchio. I think 16, 1700, somewhere around there, the story comes about. But once the story starts, you can actually map its movement from Europe to near Asia to the Asian continent, and the story changes based off what people and what culture it comes into. And these shifts and changes used to take hundreds of years, thousands of years for these stories to spread across the world. And now here we are today, talking on the internet to anybody in the possible world who wants to try to find us, who wants to see us. And we can instantly have a story go from here to another country, to another person, without any delay whatsoever. It's when you start trying to wrap your head around how slow information used to move, how communication was really slow, and how fast and changing and morphing it is now. It's mind-boggling. It's uh, honestly, I don't know how we even keep up with the changes.
I think it's an interesting look, because like back then, back when you're talking, but then we had a plethora of people who could tell stories, but we
Yeah,
didn't have the means of getting those stories out.
yeah,
Now today in modern days, we have the means of getting those stories out, but we don't have a good number of people that can tell those stories now. I don't think we. I mean, we have. There are some,
right,
but not
right,
as many. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there, and I'm thinking video games and movies and stuff like that. Some are really bad, just really really bad at telling a
right.
story, and it's just the process of telling a story. But there are those key people that fall through the cracks and who can spin a good tale,
Yeah,
and you see
yeah,
that. I just feel like we do have this mass media where we can send our story out, and just the people who are not able to communicate just verbally, and then
Well, I
that
heard
goes
it.
that goes
Yeah.
through like our education system and being able to form a sentence and just
hmm
speak properly and stuff like that,
right,
and so
right.
on and so forth. I'm sorry, Des.
No, I shouldn't have interrupted. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't
No, it's
interrupt.
fine. It's fine.
How dare.
I heard it. I heard it put this way that modern people's way that we remember things has changed a lot over the years.
Right.
That we've gone from remembering the entire thing to having almost like a file box system where we know where to find a lot of information, right? I may not
Mhm.
remember exactly what's written in XYZ space, but I know where to find that book, or I know how to Google that information, or I know how to find that
Mhm.
information. And so that can have its own advantages. I can find a lot of information where instead of just remembering a lot about a few things.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right.
No, you're 100% correct on that. That is something that, I actually noticed a lot with my nephew.
Mhm.
As you guys know, I'm of a certain generation. I'm, 42 years old this year. A time before computers. I remember a time I had to go to something called a library, get a
What?
get a book,
Had to
and
process the Dewey Decimal System.
I had to go in, open the book, and I had to read it. And if I was going to retain the information, I had to try to memorize or remember it.
Read it
Right.
It
several
is
times.
wild. Um, but I was having a discussion with my nephew, and as he put it, and there's a lot of discussion about this in business, in some of the business circles that I pay attention to, is the change of you're right, Des. You can pull out your phone, and you have more information here than humanity has ever had access to, just from your phone. You can look up anything you could possibly want, but there's a difference between pulling it up on your phone and getting the temporary information, like you said, storing it in the box, like, a little catalog box in your head. I know where to find this thing,
Mhm.
to understanding what you're looking up, and what it means and where it is. So that's kind of when I say stuff like social media, there are people who know how to go out and use social media and become, very familiar with it. They can look at the best practices, they can follow those charts, follow those comments, follow those ways things are set up.
Mhm.
But the folks who really knock it out of the park and take it to another level are those people who sat down, really thought about it, really brought it in, and kind of internalized it to part of who they are. And they're able to take that information, and they're able to tell, in terms of social media, like Instagram, they're able to tell their personal story, or TikTok, they're able to tell their story on those social medias. And it's going to be very different from somebody who's just kind of following the pattern to somebody who understands it, is crafting their story, or in a lot of cases, telling their story in a way that someone hasn't before. Now, doesn't necessarily guarantee success. Sometimes, like on Twitch, it tends to be, the right person, right game, right time.
Mhm.
Somebody will blow up, get a bunch of follows, and it doesn't really have to do with, what they've kind of done. It has a lot more to do with it's the right cocktail of experience for the people watching, that it makes sense. Um, so it's kind of interesting, but it's important to understand those fundamentals and really figure out the how. And luckily, we've got a number of great storytellers on YouTube, which is a great university where you can come and learn how to do things, do anything you want. Just about, somebody's going to have a video how to do it. It's just important that you understand that seeing the steps is important. It's important to know da 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 da, just like cooking or baking. But it's really sitting down trying to understand the why.
Mhm.
Uh, so, for example, um, at work, we talked about pizza cheese a minute ago. I am deeply concerned right now about the time and the heat for my
Mhm.
pizzas. I could put my pizza in, and it rolls out, and the cheese gets melty, and the crust gets cooked, and I can be perfectly happy with that. But I know a good pizza requires some caramelization of the cheese on top, and the
Mm.
bottom of the pizza has to be nice and have a little bit of a crispness or a bite to it. Um, again, I could make a pizza all day long with those just basic knowledge of just it's hot, the cheese looks melted, the crust is done, chomp chomp chomp. But I know a
Congratulations, you're
good
at Chuck E. Cheese.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Except at Chuck E. Cheese, you might have half of someone else's pizza. You don't need it.
That's true.
That's been proven.
Yeah.
That's been freaking proven. So it's kind of wild. So, like I said, it's kind of wild just in talking about like the difference of search and understanding. Um, but in terms of streaming, that's something that before I even got started, I spent a lot of time saying, okay, with streaming, you want to be authentic. You don't want to be somebody you're not. You want to be, you want it to be something that's just kind of natural, but you do want to emphasize, you know, two things that are kind of unique about you, or that you can have fun with, or you can play around with, that really, show your skills. And that's kind of the story that you have to have. I know there's definitely times that I'm not feeling well and I try to stream, that I fall into I turn the game on, I'm playing the game. Some people are hanging out, some people aren't. And there's a lot of people that fall into that trap. They're like, oh, I'm going to be really good at this game. People are going to watch me because I'm so good at it. But there's a lot of people that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for me, I realized very early on, I'm kind of stupid. I'm willing to do stupid things for a laugh, especially in games, even if I've got to start over. Um, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and try to have as much fun as I can, laugh. And if there's a way for me to bring chat into the narrative, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make them part of the story. That's something that I really, when I'm hitting on all cylinders, that's something that I tried personally to do a lot on my stream, is find ways to get chat involved. And that's part of, again, to me, that's part of my storytelling. That's me saying, by the way, let me find something here I really, really like. So that's like me finding out recently that Halls has new mini cough drops. They're super tiny. They come in a nice pack that fits in my pocket well. It's not taking up space with my keys, my wallet, or anything like that. Um, they're tiny, so it's not like I'm walking around with a mouthful, the big lozenge lying around that I got to move around when I'm talking to people. It's super tiny, very effective, just as effective as anything else you have cough drop wise. And it doesn't last in your mouth as long, but the effects of it still last just as long as having a regular cough drop. I've fallen in love with these things. I've got their menthol flavor, I got their honey lemon flavor, and I just started trying their cherry flavor.
By the way,
And
we are not sponsored by Halls.
No,
Not
we're
yet.
not.
Not yet. But Halls, if you're listening.
Yeah, if you're listening. But yeah, so I mean, again, this is something I genuinely enjoy. Everything I said about it is, from the heart. It's something that I've fallen in love with the darn things. They're great. And that's communication wise with stream. Again, that's some of the power that you can bring to the table if you pay attention, if you think about it in terms of like, how am I going to tell my story?
Mhm.
You can let the story kind of happen to you, turn the game on, play the game, do whatever you're doing, and then just passively have people come in. And if they're there, you're just doing it. But it's much more effective to think of it in terms as a storyteller. And, you know, how are you going to happen to the game? How are you going to happen to stream? How are you going to happen to your social media account? And really, focus in on those things. It's wildly important. And even though we've come to a point now, again, where we can instantly communicate with anybody from around the world. I mean, how many of your just personally, Sid and Des, how many friends do you have locally that you do stuff with compared to how many folks do you do stuff with online? Um,
I
if you
don't
guys
have
want to
any
share.
local friends.
Sorry, Des. Sorry. Well, you moved recently too.
Like two.
Yeah.
Two local friends.
Yeah. I've lived where I lived for years. I've got a lot of work. I got a lot of work people I know. I got a lot of customers I know really well. But locally, I can't say like I just don't go out locally. I spend all my time online with my internet friends or at work with people who are friends one day and then the next day they bowl bat and they hate me. So it's really, really great for my emotional, my mental health. It's fantastic, let me tell you. But it's wild, like I said, our online friendships are just as valuable, if not more valuable, at times than what's happening in the day-to-day life. And I see that happening a lot more now as far as communicating with others and again trying to tell stories. I don't think we're in deep enough yet, or we've had enough time to really understand how this is going to change and affect us.
Hmm.
uh, in a lot of ways you could say, hey, it's going to be bad, when you meet up with people that that the communication just isn't happening. And what I've kind of seen through time, and I definitely see it at work all the time, the bowling center is a great area to watch people interact socially. Is millennials, when they were up and coming in their teens and 20s, all the pictures you saw, people like everybody just, on their cell phone and not talking to each other in groups, happened quite a bit. Like it was a meme for a reason. It was happening. What I've seen though in the Zoomers or Generation Z coming up, what I've just been seeing from practical, paying attention to people around me, I'm seeing Generation Z has realized that that's not exactly a healthy way to exist. So I'm seeing them when they come to the center, instead of everybody being on their cell phone, um, you'll have people, you'll have one or two that'll come in, but like they're the ones that they'll have like in their friend group, they'll have somebody who's kind of documenting everything. They'll have somebody who's taking pictures, recording video, and it may be one or two people that are doing that. But as a whole, I've been seeing them come out as a group, and it's much more about understanding. Even if they're friends only, primarily online, when they come together, it's that one-to-one interaction that becomes so much more important than anything else. I know Sid, you're you're pretty close to the same age I am. Last time went to Orlando, we were hanging
Yeah.
out, and I don't think we hardly touched our phones at all.
We forgot to. We were supposed to. Uh,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah, we were supposed. Yeah, we were supposed to take a whole bunch of pictures. Just because I do like to have a memento or two to to look back upon.
Mhm.
I think I tried to stream,
Yeah. Yeah.
but there was a
Well, we
lot
did
of
some of
dead.
the nighttime stuff.
Right,
Hmm.
right, yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we forgot
Yeah.
to document anything. But
Well, see, that's the thing. That's for for me, I kind of, I've always thought about, if I see something really cool, I'll try to take a picture. But just me personally, my mentality when I go into these kind of things is, for me, it's so much more important to just be there. If I'm recording all the time, if I'm just taking pictures, all that kind of stuff, I don't feel like I would have been there hanging out with Sid.
right,
Hmm.
Now, I also know, Sid, you have equipment to help it make it easier for you to stream.
which
You know,
is
you
now obsolete. Because I'm just gonna interject real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so because TrollCon is gonna be very disappointing for me because I wanted to
Aw.
document and I wanted to stream,
Right.
but DJI, the company that I bought my wonderful camera, my high definition camera, uh,
Yeah.
does not play well with Android 12. And
Oh.
Android 12 was my Android was very essential to that recording process and streaming
Yeah.
process. So basically, when I connect to my phone and the updated Android 12 phone, I can control the camera, I can use the app, but all I get is a screen of black. That's
Oh
it.
Hmm.
That's it. And
god. Oh
so
no.
there's a lot of blogs about this whole uproar about this, going like, DJI, you need to fix this. And their
Right.
suggestion was
Buy the new camera.
borrow someone else's phone and use it. I
That's,
Like,
I am not
I'm
kidding
not
you. That is
surprised.
verbatim. That is verbatim. Like, just use someone else's phone.
What
And, and,
what
and
about what about their new cameras? What about
I
their new products? Do they work
no,
fine or no?
not all of them do. No, and
Oh,
it's a software issue. So and
oh
all it is a black screen. Everything works. It's just a black screen. You can't see through anything.
hmm.
And DGA has not made any statements that they're going to fix it anytime soon. So
Wow.
they're probably not.
I have a $500 paperweight right now because
Oh my
I
god.
can't use my camera,
That's
and
painful.
I'm really angry.
Does it work with iPhones?
I I don't have an iPhone,
For
so
iPhone users?
I don't
Well,
know.
maybe you could sell it to an iPhone user.
Des, do you use an iPhone?
No.
No,
Damn.
you know, because she's smart.
I use the Google Pixel.
I have a Pixel 6. I have a, yeah,
I
doesn't work.
mean, oh man, that's tough. It's just tough. I
Um,
don't even use a smartphone. Oh god.
I mean,
That's the thing though. But I mean,
ultimately,
that's the
ultimately, I could just use my phone and just stream straight from the phone. But
well, I mean, that's what I do for bowling.
yeah,
But I mean, the bowling stream's pretty easy. I can just set my phone up. There it is. It's on a tripod, and I just hit go live. There it is.
yeah,
Mhm.
You know, if I wanted to, I could probably have my audio set up and have a better camera, all that kind of good stuff going. But
but
I don't know.
this was a way to have like a very professional shot.
Yeah,
It was a
Right.
yeah,
gimbal. It was a steady
yeah.
cam, and it was well.
It was fan. Oh my god, I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
Hopefully, it'll work someday. But I don't think it's gonna be ready
Someday.
for TrollCon.
No, that's unfortunate. That's
Yeah,
unfortunate. But I mean, again, these are things you got to deal with when it
yeah,
comes
Mhm.
down to streaming, and especially with technology. Just because something's working today doesn't mean they're not going to release a new product and stop support.
right,
That's one of the roughest things about laptops. Not to go too far off topic here, but like laptops, they're all their voltage, wattage, all their power consumption is controlled by the drivers that the company puts together for the laptops. So if you buy a laptop that has like a 3080 3070 in it, it's not a regular 3070 with standard voltage and wattage. It's going to
right,
be controlled by the drivers what kind of power it's going to draw and how much it's going to put out. And even then, it's going to get thermal throttle too if your laptop gets too hot. And by year 2, maybe year 3, depending on the company, they're not going to release any more drivers, which means new games coming out you're not going to be able to play, or there's going to be issues playing with them.
right.
Mhm.
And why do they do it? Well, it's you can call it planned obsolescence if you want. You know, you got to buy it. Even if you future proof a laptop, you buy a laptop that's $4,000. Guess what? In a few years, it's going to be a laptop that you're just using for Microsoft Word.
Desktops for life.
Now,
Desktops for
one thing I have been considering, though, I can still use the camera to actually record, so I can just
Right.
do a whole bunch of compile
Oh.
recording for the whole trip, and then edit it, and then release it.
I
So,
think, like I said, if you want to do that, I think that'd be fine because
yeah,
even then, it's much more of like with so I'm just going to go with my example of bowling.
right,
The bowling streams, I'm paying like my bowling ain't as great as it could be because I'm talking to chat. Now I'm pretty good at bowling. I've been bowling a long time, so when I get up and ready to bowl, I can usually focus in on what I'm trying to do, deliver the ball, and have a good shot. But if I had just hit record and I came back to the seat, talked a little bit, bowled, uploaded it to YouTube, I think I probably bowl better because
Mm.
I'm still in the moment and I'm not having the live interaction going on. So maybe that would be, hey, I'm Sid, come share this experience with me. And again, if you're gonna be conscious about it, craft the narrative, have fun, maybe turn up the jokes a little bit more than you normally would if you were there by yourself. Um, but it might be a way for you to kind of be able to experience the park, have the video going, and have people just come along for the adventure.
We can watch it live on stream.
But yeah, I would have. But
Watch
that's the
it
thing,
later.
like I wonder sometimes, like if I'm trying to just be in the moment and enjoy something, you know, but if I'm interacting with chat at the same time, which again, chat for those of y'all watching live on Twitch, I'm sorry I'm not paying a lot of attention because I'm kind of trying to keep my focus on topics. Um, I wonder how much I would be, a little bit distracted between. And like I said, that's why I don't stream a lot, live stream a lot, like when I'm traveling.
Right.
Is for things to go well, I kind of have to be in the moment, especially when I'm working. I've really got to be in the moment and focused because I don't want to miss. I don't miss my flight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to miss my luggage. I don't want to have too much distraction of like if I'm going out to dinner. Like I've thought a ton about like going out and just doing like eating streams when I'm
Mm-hmm.
traveling, setting up at a restaurant and all that kind of good stuff. But the times I've done it, I've had a great time. I've had fun doing that. But I didn't really enjoy the meal.
Mm.
See,
Like
when we actually live streamed from the Hard Rock, that was fun.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and honestly, it didn't really matter about enjoying the meal. We were enjoying our company, and we were just interacting with us. So that's a little bit of a different example for it, and I do enjoy that, and I would love to do that with like the whole TrollCon group. But
now that I think that, but again, that's also taking it back to what we were talking about. That's also the story that we were telling.
Right.
Was we very deliberately said, hey, we're doing this.
Right.
And oftentimes, like I said, for me personally, when it comes down to like if I'm traveling, I spend all day with a customer getting very in depth, very social into the topics of how to run these bowling center things. And when I get done and I go out to eat, I'm not really feeling like lonely. Like
Mm-hmm.
I miss home. I miss my wife. I miss the dog. I miss talking with chat. But honestly, it's, I need time to, even though I'm an extrovert, I need some time to kind of come back into myself. And that's usually like my dinner meal is a time to just kind of sit down, release any pressure. A part didn't ship, the computer's not working right, the person I'm working with isn't paying any attention to what we're talking about, is my time to come back and just really have that focus.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I would have fun chatting with people, but that's also kind of one of those, it's like, it's my time. It's weird, but we're getting way off topic again.
Because that's what we do.
Because I did have a second part. I did have a second part of communication, telling story and storytelling, because it's also not just the storyteller. It's not just the person telling the story. It's not just the singer. In these kind of one-on-one environments or very intimate environments, those people can have a lot of influence, and we can see it today. Actors are fantastic storytellers, or successful actors are. Actually, no, actors in general are fantastic storytellers. They're taking the written word, and telling it, through acting. Unless they're doing that from a manga or an anime. If they're doing live action from a manga or anime, apparently right now that just don't seem to work. You can say the same thing for video game movies too, but then we get something like Free Guy, which wasn't based on a specific game, but man, they did a good job making a video game
that
movie.
was excellent storytelling. Free Guy was amazing.
So let's take it back and talk about, and when it comes down to writing, which we brought up, let's take it all the way back to how it starts, because writing starts from pictograms, starts from pictures. And some of these pictures are fantastic. When we start talking about like cave art, cave art, we go to it, we find it, we look at it, it's beautiful. When you realize that it was made by somebody who knows 30, 40, 50, 60,000 years ago, somebody sat down and painted like a rad buffalo hunt that they had. That's some cool stuff. That's some really cool stuff. What they're finding out recently, though, what archaeologists are finding out recently, though, is in certain cave paintings, they're kind of animated. When you see like dense herds of animals, what they're finding out
Mhm.
is when you go in with a torch, which they don't want to do because that could damage, the art made, you know, tens of thousands of years ago, or 10,000 years ago, or whatever the date is, that's making this time ago. Of course, the smoke and everything from a live torch can damage it.
Right.
That's why since the early days of that they haven't really brought in torches like Indiana Jones or anything like that. They brought in flashlights, lanterns, things that aren't going to cause any real damage to it. What they started to do is they started to develop torches that work like, or flashlights that work like, or lanterns that work like torches, that have the light and movement of fire.
Mm-hmm.
And what they have found in some of these cave paintings is with the movement of those torches, that these cave paintings are animated. That
Mm-hmm.
as the torchlight moves, the light affects the art, where it looks like the buffalo are moving across the cave wall, which is stunning. We think, hey, animation, cartooning, things like that are a modern construct,
Barely not.
but no, it's
It goes
a
way back
construct.
further.
Yeah, it's a construct that is humanity.
Right. That's amazing.
You know,
That's really cool. That's amazing.
yeah. Yeah, Des, have you looked into any of that? I know you're the art historian of the group, especially recently with all your stuff with getting your renew or getting a new teacher certification in another state.
For those of you who don't know, in chat, I am certified K-12 in art education in Oklahoma.
Huzzah.
Recently moved to Pennsylvania, so I'm working on my certification here so that I can teach in this state.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to study for and retake a important content area exam, so I definitely was diving heavy into some art history recently. As far as what you're talking about, Zealous, I did read a bit. You mentioned this the other day, so I did read a bit about on it.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as that,
Not much beyond it. Yeah, it's just
not much beyond it. Yeah, I mean, I know about the cave paintings initially, and their the biggest, most famous one, the one that if you look up cave paintings, you're gonna find the cave is actually located in France.
mm-hmm.
That's kind of the most famous location for the cave paintings. I can't remember the name of the caves off the top of my head, but I would totally recognize it out of a list of names.
But yeah, so again, going back to, we start off with storytelling as people around a campfire, somebody telling the stories, the people who are singing and telling, bringing their story into song. And some point somebody says, and I think really it starts more with like the handprint. The handprint is one of the first cave paintings they have. And the handprint is, what a great way to say, I'm here. I was here. That's my handprint. That person's lost to time, but you know what? We
Mm-hmm.
know they were there. Then that person goes from I'm here to going, whoa, we had a totally rad buffalo hunt. Let's put it up here on the wall, dude. Yeah. Now, why they did it hundreds of yards into a cave with no light source other than torches, who the heck knows? Maybe they knew it would preserve it somehow. I don't know. But it's a fascinating idea. They go, yards and yards into these caves, risking life and limb to draw on the wall a hunt.
It was just the original Banksy, man. They just wanted to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some guy's walking around is like fuck you, cave. I'm gonna draw art. Bam. Drop the microphone.
Oh my god. I just that just reminded me. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I saw there is supposedly a Banksy TikTok account, and supposedly it's him, but he never shows himself, right?
Right.
He posted a video of one of his art pieces being sold on an auction. Yes. Did you see this thing? Oh my gosh.
Keep telling.
So his artwork was supposed to be not sold for auction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what he did was he did his artwork, and it was a girl with a red balloon artwork. And if those of you who are not familiar with Banksy, he's a very famous graffiti artist, and he built the frame for the picture too. What he didn't tell anybody was inside the picture frame was a paper shredder, and he had it as a basically a security deposit in case his artwork ever got sold on auction. There was a full auction that happened, and his painting did get sold for, and I can't remember how much. It was like a couple $100,000s, almost close to $1 million for his painting. It sold. The gavel hit the table, and you literally saw this guy's hand hitting like a key fob, and you hear this screeching security sound going beep 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 beep. His painting from the frame goes down and shreds.
Yep.
Absolute shredded.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that just reminded me of that. So sorry.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. Like I said, props to Banksy for having a commitment on his beliefs and thinking that far ahead. He knew somebody was going to sell it eventually. I mean, he knew. Why else would you put a paper shredder in there with a battery that's going to last for who the hell knows how long?
Well, it was also funny too because they showed behind the scenes stuff, and they're like, we had several rehearsals to making sure it did work. So they had fake stuff, and then we're like making sure like when they hit the button it would shred and stuff
It'd
like
go
that
through.
Mm-hmm. And apparently during the actual auction it only shred halfway.
Yeah.
So it did.
No.
Yeah.
That's enough to.
It jammed.
It jammed. So, and they were like in all the tests we did it worked 100%, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's
anyways,
talk about that.
Cave drawings. Sorry.
Cave paintings. So cave paintings end up evolving into language, like the Egyptians, where they have pictographs that mean certain words, things, items. Those pictographs end up getting in the Greek alphabet, end up getting transformed into shapes and vowels and sounds, and then we end, in the Western or the Western world, we end up with an alphabet that we use. Those alphabets, the shapes of the words, if we trace it back far enough, end up being some form of pictogram.
So,
yes, Tess.
Connected thought is that this is what I love a lot about a lot of Eastern languages, like the Chinese alphabet and the Japanese alphabet. A lot of those started in their much earlier iterations as small drawings of whatever they were meant to represent, and they shifted over time, and they still kind of look like their old versions, but they're much less of pictures and much more of how we know them now as their language. But it's just fascinating to me.
That's like oh, go ahead.
No, that was about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like in Japanese, I believe the character for man looks like a man. It's just a straight line. It's been a little more decorative, where like the feet are kind of shaped up, and then it definitely has a cross across the middle of it. It looks like a person.
Mm-hmm.
So it still retains some of that pictographic past, but it became its own form of language as well. Either way, the point I'm coming to here is, so we have writing. People start being able to put the writing down onto paper. Before that, a tale of a person only lasted as long as somebody told the story. Mm-hmm. So take like the story of Beowulf is one of our most, one of the best examples I can think of. Before the story of Beowulf was written down, if you've never read it, I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. Don't watch the movie. It may have, semi-naked monster Angelina Jolie, but that doesn't save the movie.
No.
But what we have, though, is the story is we start off with pictures. Those pictures develop into the written word. We go from Beowulf where at the time, the culture that the story came from, if people kept telling your story, the belief was you never really died. People kept talking about you. You were never gone. You'd always kind of live on as if people talked about you. So the
Mhm.
importance of when you hear stuff about like heroic deeds, that's part of the importance of it is to keep, do something so badass people are going to talk about you forever because you'll always be alive in some way, shape, or form. And the story of Beowulf is amazing because again, it's a story happened who knows where in history the verbal part of the story came about, but the story perpetuated to the point that somebody came by who knew how to write, said, "Damn, that's a badass story," and wrote it down. And we still have that story. We're still talking about Beowulf today. So by their belief system, he's still alive.
Who?
He's still his essence is still kicking.
Mhm.
I'm trying to kill him.
Oh my
Sorry.
god! Wait, did Tam? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm looking at chat. Did Tammer say that before I did?
No, no,
No.
no, no,
No.
no, no.
Okay.
He just
Okay.
He's quoting
he's
you.
Quoting
you.
it. Okay. Okay. I was like, look down. Somebody had the even semi-naked Angelina Jolie couldn't save the movie, and I was like, did somebody put that at the same like at about the same time? And it did. Holy crap! Anyway, so we get to written word. Written word is here for a long time. The print and press comes out. We have books now. We have the written down documentation of books that we can keep. Even in ye old and ancient times, we have scrolls of papyrus that people have written on that we have scraps of that we can read. There's items like the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are ancient translations of modern religion of religious texts that have continued into the modern era, and we can look at and see what some of the differences and some of the cultural changes are. Um, it's also amazing when you get to the area of the spoken word, the storytellers. They've even found that the storytellers, people telling the story through oral tradition, the importance was on accuracy. So even while we think of telephone today, we tell somebody one thing, it goes to the next person, it changes a little, it goes to the next person and changes a little. They're even able to find in like ancient Hebrew that the stories while there are some changes, there's not as much as people would think in from the different eras and times. Some of the words mean something different, but the core of the story stays the same. So even in oral traditions, it was so important for people to just memorize by rote what people are telling them.
Mhm.
So like Homer and the Iliad and the Odyssey, those are stories that existed by oral tradition, generations before he was born. The difference is we know Homer told this story because somebody listened to him tell it and wrote it down. Wrote it down, word for word. Um, it's fascinating when you think that you could go hundreds of years with a story, and magically, that story doesn't change. If you want a modern representation of that, look at kids doing singing "Ring Around the Rosie."
Mm.
Ring around the rosy, pockets full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. That originated during the first European plague.
Plague,
Mhm.
yeah, the Black Plague.
Yeah, yeah, initiated during the Black Plague. And the words from any written documentation of that, the words haven't changed.
No.
It stays the same. We've forgotten what the meaning of it is.
Although it's
Yeah.
very
It-
still disturbing to hear children singing that and not knowing what it
yeah,
means.
yeah. So it's wild that as we get all these mediums, how they change, how we still, how they still all work together. It's one of the great things about humans you know, is that even though we change, the story changes, things happen, um, we're able to keep working within these spheres of communication and bring it up into the modern era. What's wild to me though is after generations of writing, generations of verbal storytelling, with the invention of the camera and moving pictures and film, we start going back to a more pictographical depiction of who we are, what we want to show. We move back to pictures. And a lot of people say, picture picture's worth 1,000 words or something along those lines. I think
Mhm.
it is.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've said it. So now we're at pictures. Now we get to the point where the greatest feat of storytelling that we have in the modern era, where things culminate, where cost culminates into the storytelling, believe it or not, is or at least may be different now, but a few years back was the Avengers. The Avenger movie that came, the first Avenger movie that came together, wildly expensive, used every single piece of storytelling that we have had in the history, brought it into the modern mythos, brought it into the modern storytelling, brought it into the structure of storytelling, and told possibly one of the most in-depth and impactful stories that we have. It's the culmination of that just simple fact of sitting around a campfire and telling stories goes into, like I said, a movie like The Avengers, a movie like Avatar. All that is taking that storytelling medium and bring it into pictures and moving people's emotions. And ultimately, what we're doing here on Twitch, we, as streamers, we're telling, like I said, we're telling stories. This is the modern day sitting around the campfire and telling stories to our friends. Or as I look at it when I'm trying to stream, being the story, bringing people into the story and letting them be part of it. It's part of the reason why I give a lot of people opportunities to mess with me while I'm streaming. That's where we're at. The base of communication is me sitting in front of a friend, bullshitting around, telling stories. We've come to the whole point now that we can take that simple interaction of me sitting around bullshitting with friends, telling stories around a campfire, to now we can do it with anybody that wants to join us across the entire world that has access to the internet. It's what it is. It's what it is. So, bring in conclusion. When you hit go live, even if you're going to be kind of be kind of freewheeling. I'm a little freewheeling, like we said early in the program. I had no notes for this, and we took an adventure. But that's the whole idea. Is if you're proactive with it, if you're thinking of it as, we're telling a story, we're creating a story here while we're streaming. We're going to have fun. We're going to be authentic. People, again, if you're streaming, people connect with you. They get to know you. They get to become fans and friends and followers and whatever you want to call it. They trust. They trust what you say. Hopefully here today, not sponsored, but man, these Hall minis are so fantastic. If you see them at the store, go try them. It's like just keeping a little thing of Tic Tacs in there rather than like a whole handful of cough drops like you used to, or a tube of Halls that sits around in your pocket gathering dust and lint for when you go to peel it and take it. It's all covered in gross.
And if you would trust Halls to help you with your cough, I go and when I'm doing my gaming, I like to turn to Gamer Goo, and I trust Gamer Goo to help me get a grip on my controller.
So a big bag of Ricola, dude. I love Ricola. It tastes so good. I wish Ricola.
I just wish I could
Follow the example.
I have trouble pocketing the horn from Ricola.
They have those things collapsible, by the way.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Well, okay, I guess I can't make that joke anymore.
It's wild. And I have held off my coughing as much as I can.
Good job.
Des, Sid,
yes.
any thoughts on the topic at hand? Anything you want to throw in there? Any counterpoints that you said that you might say, well, that sounded like bullshit. I mean, that's fine. I want to get some feedback,
No, I don't think I could add to any of that, honestly.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. It's fine. Fine. All right, let's it's about time for our break. I need some time to rest my throat and let the coughing subside a little bit, and we'll come back. What, about 10 minutes? So that's what, 2 5-minute crafts? Is that the plan?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. 10-minute crafts. Speaking of good communication, 10-minute crafts is a great way to have great communication on how to, just life hacks and stuff like that. So we'll be back after these messages. Bye.
Nah!
No, that's not big enough. No, that's not big enough either. That's more like it. We're delighted to have you with us, and we extend a cordial welcome to you. We've lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on our giant screen with the new, colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading about. To add to your enjoyment, we're all wound up to bowl you over at intermission time with live wire service at our snack bar, where you'll find a tempting variety of favorite foods and beverages. Now it's showtime, folks. And you can be sure it's the best show in town. Your continued patronage is very, very welcome. It's intermission. Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drinks are sparkling cold. The juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed, and all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now. It's time to stretch and fetch. See what's cooking at our refreshment counter. You'll find your favorite foods and beverages, plus many new goodies to tempt your appetite and add to your evening's pleasure. Everything's the finest quality. So treat yourself now. Nine minutes to go to showtime. Popcorn, rich with hot melted butter. All kinds of candy. Sparkling soft drinks. Steaming hot coffee. Steamed or grilled hot dogs. Crispy hot fresh French fries. Minutes to go to showtime.
I'm sorry, sir. This is a private mountain.
But I only wanted it.
This mountain is reserved for patrons.
But
It's a supply depot for all sorts of good things, which people can get at the snack bar. Like soft drinks, candy bars of all kinds, delicious popcorn, and refreshing ice cream treats.
But I am a patron.
Well, why didn't you say so? Be our guest.
Minutes to go to showtime. Hot popcorn, just pop. Fresh roasted peanuts. How about a pizza? None better anywhere. Sizzling hamburgers grilled to your taste. We've a large assortment of freshly made sandwiches. Minutes to go to showtime.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
I'd like 2 of those, please.
Hot dogs? Yes, sir.
And 3 of those. And 1 of those. And 5 bars of these. And a cup of that nice hot liquid.
Coffee. Coming right up.
Oh, and 2 bags of those peculiar white coffee material.
You mean our crunchy popcorn? Shall I wrap that for you, sir?
Oh, that's all right. My saucer's just outside.
They come from miles to enjoy our intermission.
5 minutes to go.
Ah, hello there. Give the demonstration of my new invention, the goodies machine. The machine turns out delicious hot doggies one after the other. And thirst-quenching sodas also. Gives popcorn of the most tasty kind, plain unbuttered. Candy too, crunchy and dandy. Steaming hot coffee and ice cream too. These goodies are at a snack bar just waiting for you.
To go to showtime.
As everyone knows, rainbows usually have a treasure at the end. Let's follow this one and see if we can find the pot of gold.
There, and I suppose you've come to claim me treasure.
Well, we'd like to see the gold first.
Anything that's better than gold in here, me lad. No, just look here, no.
Candy, refreshing soft drinks, popcorn, ice cream. Well, that's some treasure, but anyone can buy luscious treats like these at the snack bar.
You don't tell me. Do you suppose you could get me a job as a snack bar attendant?
Crowds are thinning out at the snack bar, folks, and there are still 3 minutes till showtime. You can easily make it for something that'll just hit the spot. How about it? Don't waste a second of refreshment time. You'll find such an appetizing assortment of refreshments at the snack bar, you won't be able to decide what to ask for first. All of your snack bar favorites are there, including fresh peanuts, hot popcorn, and candy of all kinds. And believe us, you've never eaten better hot dogs, crisper French fries, or more delicious buttered popcorn. Minutes to go to the snack bar for a quick refresher before showtime. No crowds to buck, just go get it. You'll be sorry you missed your chance to enjoy some of the many tempting goodies waiting for you. Stretch your legs now while the stretching's good. There's still time to get a mouth-watering hot dog, a sparkling ice-cold soda, assorted flavors of ice cream, all kinds of candy, the most delicious steaming hot coffee you ever drank, and freshly popped popcorn piping hot. Make a beeline for the snack bar right now to quench your thirst. One minute left to top off the evening with a treat from our snack bar. Still time if you hurry. Last call for refreshments, folks. Go right this second to get something good to eat and drink to enjoy now or during the rest of the show. The finest quality ingredients are in the fixins of the delicious foods you'll find waiting to tempt your appetite at the snack bar. Extra special good hamburgers, wonderful donuts, ice-cold thirst-quenching drinks. Pizza generously sliced, steaming hot, fresh coffee. Ice cream in many
Barbecue
flavors.
sauce in there usually is
go.
really tasty.
Oh, God,
and you
yeah.
just you pour that barbecue sauce on the bun
You did this on
with
purpose,
like the
didn't you?
relish and the cheese.
You did this on
It's
purpose.
pretty good.
You did this on purpose, Des. Oh, hi!
Hi, Chad.
Oh, hi.
Oh, it's so good to see you again. So good. Those of y'all listening off of podcasts. Hello, we're back.
I'm
Obviously-
going. We've got 2 minutes to go. We got 1 minute to go. We got 30 seconds. Des just keeps on talking. Just keeps on. It's like, screw your 30 seconds. I'm going to tell you about my vegan hot dogs.
No, it wasn't even, it was barbecue sauce.
These are
Barbecue sauce. My meat touched barbecue sauce. The LaCroix of barbecue sauce.
Your meat touched my barbecue sauce, and it's fantastic now.
For those of you who don't know, Des is vegan only because she's allergic to meat. And she was telling us, like, oh, yeah, if the barbecue sauce touches the meat, I'm okay. It's fine.
but I can't eat the meat itself.
I can't eat the meat itself.
The barbecue sauce that has been on meat is always better than just fresh barbecue sauce from a bottle or something, right? Like you gotta get that, like it's been cooked somehow or it's coming fresh from the meat, and it's good.
I think it's the fat that gets rendered out.
Yeah.
So the
probably.
first time I've ever had a LaCroix, I had it at Nick Bullitz's house, and I never had one before, and I heard about them, right?
Right.
My God. And he's like, hey, man, yeah, I know you can't do, like, the sugar stuff and all that. Like, so I got you some LaCroix. And I'm like, okay, what kind of... And it's like, yeah, it's orange LaCroix. And it's like, okay, that sounds kind of good. Yeah, sure, an orange flavored. So I open it up, and I go, what the hell is this? What is this? What is it? Is this seltzer water that, an orange truck just happened to drive next to? That
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh, I was not ready for that.
Actually, yeah, that's a good question. Let's bring that up. So obviously, the food, like you were disappointed about, to be almost angry, sounds like it was LaCroix, right?
What? Yes.
Now, I've got a story about a food that I'm still angry about today, but I'll say that Des,
Mm-hmm.
do you have a food item that like you're a little bit mad about still? Like you tried it, it was really sold up to you, and it was such a letdown. You're mad about it.
While she's thinking about that, undesirable note, yeah, LaCroix is it's seltzer water, like it's flavored seltzer water. That's what it is. But like you crack it open and you take a whiff of it and you go, oh, that smells really, really good. It smells like this flavor, and then you drink it and there's no flavor. There's absolutely no flavor
There's just
at all.
a hint.
There's a hint of flavor, and I'm not joking. It literally tastes like. The orange LaCroix, it literally tastes like an orange truck drove past the seltzer water, and that's what they bottled up. I'm not even lying about that. Yes.
I haven't had a food experience that made me mad per se, but I've gotten really emotional a couple times. Because usually in those instances, my blood sugar is dropped really low.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And so there's an amount of I will cry with disappointment. I've done this a couple of times, and it's just I know it's if you were oh, I'll get you a pastry, and I'm like, oh, that'll be great. I'll spike my sugar, and then I'll be able to get to the next food, right?
Yeah.
And if you handed me a stale ass pita spread that's just half dried out, I'll probably eat it, but I might weep while I do it. I'll just become this is the worst piece of bread I've ever eaten, and just cry about it.
What I'm hearing is, if we want to make Des cry, we need to get a 2-day-old box of Krispy Kreme to bring to
No,
Trollcon.
not Krispy Kreme, because she does not believe that is a donut.
They're arguably not donuts.
Really? I haven't heard this discussion. What?
Oh no. Okay, you want to talk about angry food? Let's talk about
I made
angry
Sid
food.
so mad the other day. I don't know if we should talk about this again.
I still say, how dare you say that Krispy Kreme is not a donut?
I say arguably not a donut, and I like try to be definitive here.
It is a donut.
It's barely a bread. It's just sugar.
Yeah. But it's sugar that when you get it like fresh and hot, holy crap, is it good?
Well, I'm not even saying I don't like Krispy Kreme. I was just saying it is arguably not definable as an actual donut.
Those are fighting words, Des. I will fight you.
It's sugar with a little flour mixed in.
I will
yes,
fight
a
you.
desirable note. Yes.
It is still a donut.
I go back to the old hard shell and soft shell tortilla. Why not both? It can be both. Yeah, exactly. It can be both.
Crunch.
No, my angry food story is I am busy. I will call you back when I get a chance. No, my big food story is, and I think you both have heard this, is quesadillas.
Oh yes.
I'm so fucking mad at quesadillas. Yeah, I had a neighbor growing up that I would drive to school, and one day she got in the car and I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" She's like, "Oh, it's great. It's great. We had the best dinner last night." And I was like, "Oh, you did? What'd you guys have? I got to hear about this." She's like, "Oh, we had quesadillas." It's mid 90s. It's like 1996, 1997, somewhere around there. Quesadillas weren't worldwide yet. They didn't, they were just starting to exist. And it's like, what the fuck is a quesadilla? I've never heard of this. Oh, she's like, oh God. So she goes about poorly describing what the hell a quesadilla is.
Poorly describing? How do you poorly describe a quesadilla?
Her description was to the point, like, I couldn't picture what it even looked like in my head.
It's a tortilla, put cheese in it, you fold it, and you grill it. Yeah. I mean...
Now, this is also before I realized that I have aphantasia, and I can't build pictures of things in my head. But she's like, oh, yeah, it's like a tortilla. It's got cheese on it. She's going through it. I'm just like, the fuck
was she doing it very ASMR like that?
No. But she was doing it, but she was excited. Like, she was like, this changed her fucking life. This changed her life. And I was like, well, okay. I was like, hey, if you guys have any leftovers the next time you make these things, if you could give me a little piece so I could try it, that'd be awesome. And she was like, oh yeah, we'll do it. Time goes on. She comes out one morning. I was like, hey, what's going on? She's like, oh, it's good. By the way, I brought you some quesadilla.
Oh no.
I was like, oh shit. All right. Fuck yeah, let's do this. I can't wait. You sold me out. It sounds so much. She's like, yeah, here you go. I was like, awesome. So she gives me this quesadilla. Cold.
Oh, why? No. It's not how you serve quesadillas.
So, I take a bite out of this cold ass quesadilla. That's in a tortilla that's not really been grilled very well. It's not crisp at all. It's like no crisp. It's just soggy. The whole fucking thing is soggy. I take a bite and I just have a rage fill my heart. Because I'm like, this is a fucking grilled cheese sandwich. That's what this is. So they use tortilla instead of sliced bread. It's a grilled cheese sandwich. To this day, like, I can't stand tortillas because I'm just like, or not tortillas, but I can't stand quesadillas. Just one, I have that, I have that sense memory of taking a bite out of this soggy, cold cheese, like butter soaked thing that was just terrible. And even hot, like, I just can't do. It's so little joy is brought to me.
What if I call it a fajita turnover?
Now, again, that would probably, if you got fajita meat in there and it's hot, I'll probably eat it. Just like, again, if it's a tortilla, I'm out with friends, they want to order it as like an appetizer. I'll go. I'll have a bite. I'll eat it. I won't bitch my wine, moan, or complain. You guys will know in my head, I'm like, I'm eating a fucking grilled cheese sandwich. Oh God. Yeah, there we go. You guys know that'll be going in my head.
But okay. As long as you don't order it for like a main course, you could do it for an appetizer. Okay.
It just doesn't happen.
Okay.
I have never walked into a place since then and been like, this quesadilla, God, that just sounds amazing.
You know what we need to do, Des, when we do JokeCon is that every single night when we go out for dinner, we just order quesadillas.
Let's see that.
Can we get a round of quesadillas, please?
I played around with another idea for a prank involving quesadillas that I've dismissed, so I'm going to tell you about it.
Okay.
Which involved making a quesadilla every night and putting it on Zealous's bed. So that, or like on his bedside table. So there's some ninja work that was involved with his idea. So he would wake up and there would be a quesadilla looking at him in the face.
So talking about foods that get me mad, okay? Right. So this has been recently coming up at my work.
Like the morning mint.
It's the morning cheese. So this has been coming up more and more often at my workplace when I go get my lunch and stuff like that. So we do have at the Advent Health. Yeah, at Advent Health. I don't know if I'm doxing myself. They have two cafeterias. One is the Welch cafeteria, which is the normal cafeteria, which they provide all the normal burgers and fries and stuff, very generic stuff. And then they have the Lakeside Cafe. Lakeside Cafe is targeted for vegetarian and vegan. So with that said, I usually go down to the Lakeside Cafe because it's closer. And they have, every once in a while, they have decent food. Okay, so my biggest complaint about the whole food industry in my hospital is they don't have actual chefs. They have people who are barely short order cooks.
Right.
Barely short order cooks, okay? So they have this one guy in here who thinks he's a chef and has been making atrocities that are just across the board, like eggplant with ricotta cheese in the middle, but the eggplant's not cooked. Yeah.
First I was like, and then you were like, not cooked. I was like,
it is like
deliberately, or he just fucked up.
I think it's deliberate. It is well, you have to do stuff to eggplant to get that bitter taste out of it too, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't do that.
Serve it raw, man.
No, he doesn't do that. It's so effing bitter. It's just awful. So the thing that's really been teeing me off is lately I'll go, oh yeah, I'll have, because they have like a whole thing of food on the hot plate and go, what would you like? And I'll go, oh yeah, I'll have the burrito. Can I get the side of rice, please? That's an entree. Excuse me? No, that's rice. That rice is not an entree. Yes, but it's billed as an entree. And I've just ended up going, you know what? I don't care. Just give me the damn rice. That and mac and
it an entree?
That and mac and cheese is now an entree. Mac and cheese is not an entree. I mean, you can.
It is that there's enough of it.
True. No. I won't argue with that. If you have like a whole pot of mac and cheese, yes, that's an entree. But no, they give you a scoopful, and that's a side. Damn it! And they've been doing this, and it really irritates me.
Undesirable note in chat goes, it's because it's a vegan cafeteria. Of course, rice is an entree.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't understand the rice being billed as an entree. I don't understand that. Now mac and cheese, I can understand it being billed as an entree, not just due to volume, but just food costs are going so crazy now everywhere that people got to change their prices.
Mac and cheese
some
should
things are
never
surprising.
be an entree. No,
unless there's enough of it.
I mean, you can eat it like an entree. That's fine. That's all well and fine, but it should not be treated price-wise as an entree.
No, it should. I would agree. It should be a side item.
Or there's this noodle restaurant I know exists. I've only seen it in Bloomington, but I think it exists in other places.
Noodles and Company.
Oh,
Yeah, Noodles and Company.
Yeah,
you
it
get mac and
exists.
cheese there, and they'll put all
Yes, you
sorts of
can.
crap on it.
But they'll put stuff on it.
not
No,
bad.
I'm just talking straight up mac and cheese, nothing else. Plop. There it is.
So here's a fun thing to learn about cafeterias, especially when it comes down to like large companies. A lot of times, if you're going in, sounds like your place, there's not a lot of turnover, so you're not seeing a bunch of new people there.
No.
But if you go to a cafeteria at some businesses where there seems to be a lot of turnover, it's not so much that they're hiring people, it's that they're going through a temp agency. They're hiring the cooks through a temp agency, and they're bringing them into work each day. Some of those people are not cooks.
Oh, all of these people who work at my place are not cooks. Okay, here's something that, people who do cook at home, this will irritate you. They have spaghetti and meatballs. When they cook their spaghetti, they wash it. They rinse it off.
Okay.
Why?
After cooking it or before cooking?
After cooking
after.
it.
Oh, that's weird.
After.
Yeah.
And
it's not going to have any sauce stick to it.
And it's wet. It's nasty.
Wet.
Bleh.
So it doesn't have the dries. It's just the wets.
It's and then my wife had to come in here and just it's absolutely criminal. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, do not rinse your spaghettis after you cook your spaghettis. It takes all the starch off of it. You need that starch to hold the sauce and to retain taste in the spaghettis itself.
Lock them up.
Wow, I didn't realize I was going to get that much of a response in chat with the spaghettis. Yeah.
Chad is losing its mind.
Chad is absolutely losing their mind. Yeah, these people are making criminal atrocities on food. Yeah.
Too good.
The
So
best
order
thing-
66.
Goodness.
66, yeah.
Unfollow. Oh no! Don't unfollow.
No,
We're just talking about it.
We're
not
just talking
making
about
that
it.
way.
We don't make it that way. I'm talking about it is. I'm saying that's bad. I'm not saying don't do it. Or I'm not saying do it. I'm saying don't do it.
Oh my god,
Deborah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That the cafeteria food makes me so angry. And then, oh my god, what else?
Oh,
What else
man.
do they do? They nothing's edible. When they do make rice, I have no idea how they undercook and overcook it at the same time. I don't understand how that works. I don't.
Is it like
It's
crunchy but also al dente, or
It's crunchy and also raw. I've taken a fork full of that rice and just went, yeah, that was a mistake.
they really need to stop
was
letting my husband
absolutely-
cook. That's
Absolutely a mistake. Well, I've never had your husband's cooking, so I don't.
you cannot.
yeah, you cannot. There you go.
Yeah, I don't understand how they undercook it and overcook it at the same exact time. It's.
I mean, I can understand like
It is a natural
like
wonder.
overcooking it crispy,
Yeah.
because that's like if they're doing it in like a big pot, of course you're gonna
Yeah.
have some
No.
of the crispy stuff at the bottom. And some places consider that, some folks consider that a delicacy.
Well, I mean, overcooked is it's fine, but they also
Yeah,
have just
did
raw
they just
kernels in there.
microwave some hot rice?
Just raw rice, kernels in there, just raw.
It's possible. No, they're probably they're gonna if it's a cafeteria, they're gonna have to have a massive pot somewhere.
They need to get an Instapot.
They need to get a fucking.
That's not gonna do the volume.
They
That's
need,
not
they
gonna
need to do
No.
a chef. That's what they need. Someone that knows how to freaking cook in
Look,
there.
that guy knows how to make fucking eggplant. Okay,
Oh
he knows
my
how to make
God.
eggplant ricotta Jean.
That's all.
I had lo mein. They made lo mein the other day. It had an overpowering taste of pineapple in it. Pineapple in my lo mein, I don't have a problem with that. But there was no pineapple in the lo mein.
They just dumped pineapple
I
juice
don't-
on it.
I don't know what was making that taste. It was. I was like, no, there's definitely pineapple, but I don't see no pineapple in this lo mein. There was no pineapple.
Gross.
The look on Zealous' face. What they do in those kitchens is also it's an atrocity, and it's also an amazing wonder, because I have no idea how they make this stuff.
You just gave me a flashback.
Ooh, flashback.
Yeah, last year I went to the big bowling convention for bowling center operators,
Mhm.
and it was in Kentucky, in Louisville, and Louisville had just like reopened days before the convention. Like they were pushing the bullet. Like they were like, I don't even know if we're gonna have it. The governor said we can reopen now, but he may change his mind. Governor didn't change their mind. They opened up for business, all this good stuff. They had no cooks. Usually, even with the cooks, they would hire a temp agency to bring them in. Again, nobody was working. It's the Great Resignation. They had like very little to no cooks.
Mhm.
The cook they had in my mind, must have been working in the prison department
I got some
before he goes to this
wine.
hotel. This
Some toilet
hotel,
Merlot.
this hotel is supposed to be like ritzy,
Oh,
fantastic,
no.
good hotel, and we got served a lunch that was supposed to be like it was supposed to be like, ham and veggies and all this stuff on the side. Big white plate, lima beans and corn from a can. The ham was like this little square of ham that had a glaze upon it. The glaze is somebody opened up, like you were mentioning, they opened up a can of pineapple or orange juice or some shit and just poured it on there. It wasn't even like in a pan and letting it like condense down into a sauce. No, they just fucking opened it up and poured it on the damn thing.
God.
It was so terrible. It was so terrible.
Oh my god.
It was just like I said, just you talking about like the cafeteria atrocities that got done. I was like that fucking lunch. I remember that lunch.
Undesirable note. In my experience, prison food is better than Sid's hospital.
It sounds like it might be. I don't know.
Oh,
I remember.
You know what the worst? You know what one of the worst parts of it is? He like that one chef that made that awful like eggplant is like he's standing there at the end of the line, like just proud, very proud, very proud of
Everybody-
himself. Hands
like
on his
everybody
hips,
loves my eggplant.
hands on his hips and everything. I made that. And that's no. It's our own specialty recipe. It's our own special. Fucking
Especially bad.
raw.
Made that.
Oh my god.
You need to put these bastards in the steamer a bit longer or something.
Cook it, maybe. Cook it.
I remember that trip. I remember the breakfast. Like that was like the first dinner. That was the lead off meal of this
Oh
of
my
this
gosh.
convention.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
200 plus people who are involved in the bowling industry. That was dinner. And we can forgive a lot. We forgive a lot. We know what it's like to be in the entertainment industry or to be in the hosting industry. We know it ain't easy. But the next morning, they had breakfast burritos.
Oh,
They had bacon or sausage breakfast burritos, right?
okay. How do you mess this up?
You only make enough to feed a quarter of the people who show up.
What? Oh my gosh.
So, if you got there early, you got a breakfast
you're good.
burrito. But like over half the people at the convention did not get breakfast that morning.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Just because they either they didn't have enough people to make it, or the person who's in charge of making it wildly misjudged how many people were going to be there eating.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, how you have numbers? How do you not match them? I don't know. What I do know though is our trade organization stepped up, and they had a large member of the people who were like working on hosting the events that were part of the organization. They really cut down the administrative stuff going on, and all those people who were in charge ended up going into the kitchen to make sure like that day's lunch made it and did the same thing for dinner. So they
You sure it
really
wasn't
went the
the
extra
fire
mile.
festival you were at?
It felt like it, man. The first and second day were miserable.
Oh my god. I
Now-
mean, now granted, the fire festival is way worse, but Des, are you familiar with the fire festival?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I've watched the documentary.
Oh my gosh.
It's a hot garbage fire that if you haven't
Oh.
seen it, ladies and gentlemen, go do that.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. There's a very amazing documentary on the fire festival.
Talk about overpromise and underdeliver.
That I don't even know. That's like an exaggeration. I mean, not even that's an under exaggeration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
3,000 people will make 3 burritos. That'll be enough.
I mean, it definitely wasn't a loaves and fishes moment.
Dude,
It definitely was.
Note for the fire festival, food was the least of their problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had no place to stay and were deserted on an island. And there was a hurricane coming, or it had passed or something. I can't
See ya.
remember. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Bad.
It wasn't good at all.
And it's fire. Fyre. Fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you haven't seen it, y'all should go definitely check it out.
Dude,
It's a hot garbage fire.
Talk about scams. Wow.
See, I don't know. See,
I don't think it
That's
started
like-
out. It didn't start out as one, but it definitely ended up as one.
that's like. Have you guys ever looked into the history of Live Aid?
I remember a little bit of it.
So it was a big fundraiser for AIDS.
Yeah.
It was worldwide. Like every band in the world was part of it. And the whole thing got started kind of similar like to
Right.
Fire Festival. They didn't really have a plan. They didn't have anybody committed. They just started saying they were going to do this thing. And they somehow put it together in like, I think it was like 5 or 6 months. They put this thing global televised satellite broadcast. First time it had ever happened. And they managed to pull it off. It's wild to look into like how it came together, but it really was. The guy was just like, we're doing Live Aid. We're having U2's playing at Live Aid, the biggest band in the world at the time. And U2 had no commitments at all. He promised bands were going to play that had broken up, like Queen. I think Queen at the time was going through a rough patch and they'd all kind of split up. And then Queen comes back together to play this concert that they were never consulted about, but they did it.
Huh.
It's wild.
I think SeaWorld had something very similar happen recently with that.
Yeah,
And
that was Blackfish.
Blackfish, yeah. But no, they were having no. But they were having like a festival where
really?
they were trying to get all these bands together. Like and this happened in Orlando. They were trying to get all these bands like a concert to do this big festival. And it happened the exact same thing. But then like Blackfish came out and then all the bands like started canceling on them.
Yeah.
And like I think who ended up like one band, like I think it was maybe One Direction. It's not One Direction.
It's Counting Crows. I don't know.
No,
I don't
it's
know. Des is sad.
yeah. It was like I think it was like who's the other band that has like the directional? I always get these two mixed up. It's One
You
Direction.
mean like the B-52s?
No, it's one
around
it's,
the world.
I get there's two bands that I get mixed up. One's called One Direction, and like one of them's the good band and one of them's the crappy band, and I can't remember One Direction and one. Oh my god, I can't remember. But yeah, it was like the crappy band, a version of One Direction, which is not.
They're the only ones that showed up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Womp, 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 womp. Yeah, talk about a movie ruining a company.
One Republic.
The
thank
company, the company was pretty scumbag in how they were treating all their animals and everything. I mean, you can't deny that. But talk about like, here's a documentary about this company. Oh shit!
Yeah,
kind of like Tiger King. That Tiger King, I think, was trying to, kind of took that
gosh.
whole route of exposing this whole underbelly of exotic cat collecting that exists. But they also happened to find one of the a fantastic dumpster fire of debauchery to just show the whole world, like, oh, here's this crazy guy from Oklahoma. Let's go.
Oklahoma,
He,
yay!
he paid his employees in meth. It worked great.
Yeah.
Great for him.
Yeah.
Carol Baskin.
A scripted. Oh my gosh.
All right. So
That's
we
crazy.
have covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
We've had a good time.
I think out of the history of tangents that we've ever had, this was the biggest one.
So it was a lot of fun. Certainly was a lot of fun. Like the fact we start off on food that makes us angry, and we end up and wrap it all together with
Carol Baskin. Oh, connect that. Oh.
Oh,
What does it all mean?
And what does it mean? All right.
Professional streamers.
All right. Chat. Everybody listening on the podcast. Again, thank you for listening to a streamer and troll.
Thank you guys.
Sid, I'll let you take us out because
What?
I've gone completely blank on the exit that we started. It's completely deleted from my brain. There's a gaping hole. I was like, all right, I'll just start. And I was like, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
All right. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can pull something out of my hat here. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been another episode, second season of Streamer and Troll, and we really, really appreciate you guys coming out and just putting up with our shenanery and stuff like that. For those of you on the podcast, it's good to see you again, even though we don't see you physically. But yeah, that's going to be it for us today. Signing out. I'm Sidious67.
I'm Des was Moss.
And I'm Zealous Mark II.
And we're Streamer and Troll. Have a good night, guys.